Country Story by Alfred H. Founded on an old legend. At the little town of Norton, in a famous western shire, there dwelt a sightless maiden with her venerated sire. To him, she was the legacy her mother had bequeathed. To her, he was the very sun that warmed the air she breathed. Old Alec was a carter, and he moved from town to town, taking parcels from the wheat sheaf to the mitre or the crown. And on festival occasions would the sightless maiden ride to the old cathedral city by the honest carter's side. Ere he tended to his duty at the market or the fair, he would seek the lofty Gothic pile, and leave the maiden there, that the choir's joyous singing and the organ's solemn strain might beguile her simple fancy till he journeyed home again. On the fair autumnal evening of a bright September day, she had heard the choir singing, she had heard the canons pray, and the good old dean was preaching with simple words and wise of him, who gave the maiden life and touched the poor man's eyes. And her tears fell fast and thickly, as the good old preacher said that even now he cures the blind and raises up the dead. And he aptly went on speaking of the blinding death of sin, and urged them to be seeking for life and light within. Mid the mighty organs pealing in the voluntary rare, through the fine oak-paneled ceiling, went the maiden's broken prayer that she might but for a moment be allowed to have her sight, to see old Alec's honest face that tranquil autumn night. That he of old who sweetly upon Bartimaeus smiled would gaze in like compassion on an English peasant child. That he who once in pity stood beside the maiden's bed would take her hand within his own and raise her from the dead. The maiden's small petition, and the choir's grander praise, reached the shining gates of heaven, mid the sun's declining rays, and the king who heard the praises turned to listen to the prayer, with a smile that shone more brightly than the richest jewel there. And before the organ ended, before the prayer was done, an angel guard came flying through the kingdom of the sun, from the land of lofty praises to which God's elect aspire, to the old cathedral city of that famous western shire. And the maiden's prayer was answered. She gazed with eager sight at the tessellated pavement, at the window's painted light, and her heart beat fast and wildly as she realized the scene, with the choir's slow procession and the old white-headed dean. Till she saw old Alec waiting, and arose for his embrace, while a radiant light was stealing o'er her pallid upturned face, but her spirit soaring higher flew beyond the realms of night, for God himself had turned for her all darkness into light.